You People. This is a new Netflix film, and as you can probably tell by the title, it's going to be a woke one. Netflix and woke is renowned for being one of the worst combos of all time. It never usually fares well, but how did You People fare? This film follows a white Jewish man and a black Muslim woman who fall in love, and then it looks at the difficulties that come with it when the in-laws get involved. The reason I gave this movie a shot was because it starred Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy. Jonah Hill is playing the white Jewish guy who's getting married, and Eddie Murphy is playing the Muslim father-in-law. So already that sets up a potentially interesting and funny dynamic between the two. And, you know, both are great actors, both are very funny, and they've been in funny stuff in the past, so you had to hope that that would sort of, bleed through into this film. It is a good concept. There's definitely potential for laughs and cringy humor, but, funny cringy humor where you're just sort of caught in it and, you'll feel uncomfortable watching, but it is funny regardless. And I think if this movie came out in 2010, it would have been a pretty solid comedy movie, but unfortunately it's a Netflix 2023 film, so you lose a lot of the fun because of that. And for the most part, this film disappointed. I've complained about modern comedy before from other shows and movies, and this movie has the same issue but on steroids, because pretty much everything every character says feels forced, overdone, and completely ridiculous. Obviously, where this movie is trying to achieve its laughs is through the interactions between the two people getting married and the opposite in-laws, for example, the white family trying to sound black when talking to the black girl, or the black family trying to accuse the white boy of, trying to force his way into their culture. This film was basically displaying mild racism from white to black and black to white. An example is the white in-laws saying how much they hate police and love hip-hop, blah blah blah, and then the black father-in-law taking the white guy to play basketball, telling him to name the song of those two gentlemen that went to Paris, the song. And these jokes could have been funny if they didn't roll with it for so damn long. They will introduce the topic, the joke, but they will roll with it for like 5 minutes, and it's just not funny because they're really trying to milk this cow that's already dead. There's no udder left, but they're just still trying to milk the joke. For example, as I said, Eddie Murphy's character, he's sat in the car with Jonah Hill, and he's trying to get Jonah Hill to name the song about the two guys in Paris. I can't say the word, but you know what song I'm talking about. And if he'd just thrown that in there, like a quick sort of, just a quick line, hey, what's the name of this song? And then move on from it, little chuckle. But that conversation goes on for like 3-4 minutes, and it's just really forced, and they're both just chatting shit for 3 minutes, and it just wasn't funny. And that is a common theme in this film. There are a lot of just really drawn out cringy monologues, just stuff going on for way too long, and I find it hard to believe that anyone would really talk like this ever. I get that there are oblivious, obnoxious, naive people out there that sound racist without meaning to, but I find it hard to believe there's anyone as bad as the white in-laws displayed in this film, because it was ridiculous how much stupid shit they said, how unaware they were of what they were saying, how they continued to keep saying stupid shit and do stupid things. I just do not believe that anyone like this actually exists. Obviously, comedy is usually about taking stuff a little bit further, taking stuff to a slightly more ridiculous level, but this just takes stuff to a level that is just completely not believable. I do not believe that people like this exist. I do not believe that these interactions would happen, and therefore it's hard to find the situations funny. But alongside this movie trying to be, a comedy, funny, sort of wacky movie about two worlds colliding, it's also trying to be woke. It's also trying to get a message through, and I think that message gets a bit lost in translation when you've got completely goofy stuff going on, and then it will just try and get really like dead serious on you and try and drop like a motivational monologue. And I say motivational, it's usually just stuff about how, white people are terrible and that sort of thing. This isn't me like coming out like I'm offended by this movie, that's not the case, but it is definitely trying to drop that narrative, and it's almost, because Jonah Hill co-wrote this movie, it's almost like a white guilt thing going on here, where he's like trying to fucking apologize or something, and I just don't get it. It's not, I don't think it's appealing. I don't know if anyone, like, is there a specific audience for this movie that are going to watch this movie and think, wow, that was really powerful and funny? I don't think so. I just think they needed to like pick a bit of a theme with this, because I think they're trying to do two things at once, but it's not like flowing very well. I think they either needed to go like all out comedy and then just have those nice little moments of realization, the characters make up and all this sort of thing, rather than trying to weave in these really intense like themes about race. I think they would have been better off just trying to have this be like a fun movie that has undertones of it, but really they're trying to roll with the whole thing quite a lot, and I just don't think it works as a balance. Obviously, the alternative is that they just, make this not much of a comedy movie and have it be like a serious thing, like a serious race movie, about how there is, racism from both sides of this family. I think, you kind of got to pick one or the other, because it seems like they were trying to do both, and it doesn't really like come together well. This was quite a tough watch at times, I can't lie, and don't get me wrong, I found some moments pretty funny, thanks to the charisma of Jonah and Eddie, because they're just such quality actors, but for the most part, this was a very forced and cringy movie. I think it was trying too hard to force feed a message that I think everyone's been told many times and many people understand, and at what point, this movie is not being made to be a good movie at that point. It's being made to try and, convey a message, and if you want to convey that message, I think you're better off just fucking making a video on Instagram and saying it, rather than trying to force it into this movie, which therefore takes away from the movie, makes it less entertaining. It has its moments, but for the most part, it's not very good. The art of subtlety is very lost in modern movies and TV shows for the most part, and this film was anything but subtle. And I think it really summarizes what the current culture is doing to films. It's really shaping it, it's really affecting it, and it's really stopping films from being entertainment. I would give You People a 4 out of 10. I guess it's not unwatchable, it's not terrible, but it is pretty bad. It just has some occasional decent moments. I would rewatch this never. Ever, ever, ever. And I wouldn't even bother watching it the first time if you're on the fence. I'd say just don't waste your time. You People, have you seen it? Let me know what you think about it if you have. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.